Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up to me and asked me what the time was that was on my watch. Yeah, I said, does anybody really know what time it is? Does anybody really care? If so, I can't imagine why. We've all got time enough to cry.
So just a casual 70 points yesterday.
Crazy.
A scoregami, no less.
Was it a scoregami?
It was a scoregami.
Wow.
Never had a 70-20 before.
Wow.
An unbelievable scoregami. First scoregami of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Might have been.
Do you get excited for the scoregami?
No, I don't keep up.
You don't really care about the scoregami? You know, that's a
no.
very popular thing
It
with
is.
young people.
Yeah.
And you yourself a young
I'm a
person.
young person, but it's a lot of numbers to keep up with and
Not a
different
math guy.
things. It's
Well, you don't really
whatever.
have to keep up with anything. Other people keep track of it, and then they
Right,
just
I see
tweet
it on
out
Twitter all the time.
in all caps.
Scoregami alert.
Exactly.
I stole the words out of your mouth.
You did, but it was perfect.
Yeah.
So that was the first one of the season yesterday, 70-20. Truly unbelievable.
It was incredible. It really was.
Fourth team in the history of the NFL to score 70 or more points in a game.
And then how about Tua after the game when they were like, why didn't you kick a field goal and get the scoring record? And he was like, we didn't want to embarrass them. You put 70 points on them.
But he
already embarrassed them.
But he went on to say, he goes, I understand that's what it looked like happened, but that was not the intent.
Like one of those high school games where like we didn't try to run it up on them. I mean, we had a running clock in the second half and we were just running plays. They just couldn't stop us.
Yeah, but this is the National Football
I was
League.
told that by a coach over the weekend.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you? You don't want to divulge your sources or anything like that. But really an unbelievable, nonetheless, performance by the Dolphins.
Sure was.
This coming 1 year after former teammate, I believe it was Ryan Fitzpatrick,
Fitzy.
said that Tua would be replaced by Teddy Bridgewater
That's
before,
right.
before the end of
That
the
was
season.
on a Thursday night football
I believe it was.
game, wasn't it?
I don't think that's happening, Ted.
No, he's looking unbelievable through 3 weeks.
First team in NFL history with at least 70 points and 700 yards gained in a game.
Crazy. I saw a couple stats last night. I think if I remember correctly, 70 points that the Dolphins scored yesterday is more points than the Denver Broncos have scored all season. And I forgot how many yards they had, total offensive yards the Dolphins had yesterday.
700, more than 700.
Yeah, more than 700. That's more offensive yards than the Jets have had all season.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I've got great news for you. I'll just go through this. 70 points in the game yesterday for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
70 points, right?
Okay.
That is more points than both the Patriots and Jets have scored this season. It's more points than the Steelers and Bengals have scored all season. It's more points than everybody except the Colts have scored in the AFC South.
Wow.
And it's more points than the Broncos themselves have scored and the Las Vegas Raiders. If I go to the NFC, this is great here. It's more points than every team in the NFC East and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
For the
good
season.
boys.
This is for the season.
Right, not just yesterday.
I want to emphasize that. The Vikings, who have outgained everybody this season, I believe, have maybe that's not right, but either way, the Vikings, it's one more point the Vikings have scored, more than the Bears. It's more points than every team in the NFC South has scored this season, and it's more points than the Rams have scored as well. So you went through, that's damn near half the league
Yeah,
right
it's a
there
ton
that
of
you go
teams.
through.
Yeah.
More points than they've scored all year. It was unbelievable.
It's crazy.
He said second team in NFL history with at least 300 passing yards and 300 rushing yards in the same game. Everyone was kind of freaking out. Oh, they got to go get Jonathan Taylor. He's available, all this other stuff. And they just scored 8 touchdowns on the ground yesterday.
Who's the rookie running back that scored like twice early yesterday? Is he a rookie or is he just a young guy?
Yeah, I think he might be a rookie. I really don't know. But he's definitely a young guy. You're talking about a Kane?
Yeah.
Devon?
He was great.
Devon
yesterday.
Akane. Yeah. And Raheem Mostert also played well. But Devon Akane, 18 carries for 203 yards yesterday.
That's incredible.
Unbelievable. And Mike White got some burn yesterday for the boys. Yeah, so 70 points is the most points since 1966. That was the Washington football team scored 72. And 726 yards is the most since 1951 when the Rams scored 735 points.
It's incredible.
Most points in yards since the NFL merger. Unbelievable stuff. That was truly unbelievable to see yesterday. Now that's just the Dolphins'
With an
perspective.
evil genius on their sidelines.
And no
Mike
Jalen
Davis.
Waddle.
And no Jalen Waddle. Yeah,
I
that's
didn't need
true.
him clearly yesterday. They were just fine without him. Tua was 23 for 26. He only threw 3 incompletions.
crazy.
Yeah, that's really is crazy. Unbelievable. Again, that is the Dolphins' perspective.
Welcome to the Dolphins.
There's another perspective on that game. Oh, and the last thing, the Dolphins are a wagon. They are a wagon. The other perspective in that game comes courtesy of the Denver Broncos.
Yikes.
They have yet to win a game this season. It is the first season with Coach Sean Payton.
Yeah.
He's less than happy, I think you would say.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good way, maybe an understatement of what he is.
Less than pleased with the performance.
Yeah, not so thrilled.
It was terrible. And he was rather surly in his press conference yesterday.
I know that you said it's embarrassing, but this is kind of an historic game. I mean, it's
I'm more.
third time the team has scored 70 points, over 700.
What's the question?
I mean,
What's the
how do you
question?
feel about it being
I just finished telling you.
historically embarrassing?
Next question.
So he's not exactly excited about the performance
bad
of the
question
game.
by the reporter. I mean,
I just answered that.
It's just kind of putting salt water in the
So
wound.
for larger context, he just finished talking about how it was a bad loss. He was very upset by it. Terrible. He's embarrassed by the performance and all that kind of stuff. Embarrassed by the performance. The very next question by the reporter was, I know you said you were embarrassed, but are you also embarrassed that it was a historic loss?
Not just a loss.
Not just it was a bad
Historically
loss,
bad.
that it was a historic loss. Because that's so good, Brian, let's take a listen again.
I know that you said it's embarrassing, but this is kind of an historic game. I mean, it's
I'm more.
third time the
He
team
knows.
has scored 70 points, over 700.
What's the question?
I mean,
What's the
how do you
question?
feel about it being
I just finished telling you.
historically embarrassing?
Next question.
Good for the reporter getting in the historically
Yeah,
embarrassing at the end.
That's right. I mean, hey, he's going to come back at me like that. I'm going to make sure he knows. No, Coach, this was awful.
No,
and it wasn't
bad.
just
It was
awful.
historically embarrassing.
It was historically awful. You couldn't do any worse if you tried to.
That's good stuff.
But it really was a fun day in the NFL.
Sure was.
Even if you're not, even if you're a Broncos fan, there was a lot of good games going around yesterday. Locally here, Titans didn't have a great performance yesterday. The video that was going around because Deshaun Watson might be, and I'm not sure I want to say might, but people have opinions, and I want to be respectful of them. So if you have the opinion that you like Deshaun Watson, I'll be respectful of that. But a lot of people think Deshaun Watson is a despicable human being.
Yes.
And because of that, when he does something funny, it goes viral on the internet. So
I know what you're talking about.
Yesterday, he was about to get tackled, and he had a running back that was calling for the ball right behind him. He tried to throw it to him, and it ended up the ball went back like 15 yards.
Yeah.
The running back picked it up. It was a hilarious play.
So funny.
It was terrible. Now, he made up for it on the very next drive by evading the pocket in one of the most impressive ways I've ever seen in my life. So I'm going to give him a pass on the terrible
Sure.
play. That was great. But that one did go around the internet. People love to poke fun at Deshaun Watson. And it was really the only negative thing you could say about their game yesterday, because they beat the Titans 27-3. The Titans are in trouble.
Man, that defense though for the Browns is elite.
That was my favorite bet of the weekend, was
Yeah.
taking the Browns, because what you just said, their defense is good and the Titans' offensive line is so bad.
Yeah.
Like you watch what the Browns front seven did in the first 2 weeks of the year. Who in the world in the Titans' offensive line was going to be able to block those guys?
that's a good point.
The answer: nobody. Nobody was going to be able to block those guys. The Saints yesterday up 17-0, allowed the Packers to come back when Jameis took the field in the second half. That was unfortunate for the Saints. It looks like Derek Carr did not sustain any significant injury, but he's going to be out for a little bit, which is disappointing. But the fact that it's not significant injury is tough. You got Jameis and Taysom back there. You just saw Taysom go scoreless in the second half, and I know Jameis wasn't playing defense, but they gave up 18 points in the second half, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, not just second half, the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter. But that being said, I'm not sure what. I guess they're going to go forward with Jameis this week. Probably working a little bit Taysom back there.
I mean, Jameis wasn't bad yesterday, though.
He was the quarterback when they didn't score a
Well,
point
that's a
and
good point.
gave up a
That
17-0
is-
lead.
that is
But
true.
like you said, like we just said, the defense gave up
Yes,
18 points in the
that
fourth
is
quarter,
true.
not Jameis.
That's a good point.
So you go forward with that going into next week, and they were up 17-0 when Derek Carr was on the field, just commanding the offense, working clock.
Sure.
Jameis doesn't necessarily have those things. Great guy, though, truly. His attitude on the sideline when he's the backup quarterback is
man.
exceptional.
It really
The
is.
problem is he sometimes has to take the field, and that's when everything goes bad. But he's a great guy to have on the
Sure
team
is, yeah.
until he takes the field.
You want him on the team, just maybe not. on
Just
the field.
until he takes the field. So if I was the Saints, if I was Dennis Allen, I'm getting a lot of two-quarterback scheme out there. And I don't mean play a two-quarterback system. I mean literally put Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston in the backfield in every play, and they never know who the ball is going to get snapped to.
I like that.
I think this is exactly what you need.
Triggeration.
I'm telling you what. So, like, if you want to run like a run play out of the gun or something like that, I've got Jameis and then a running back in between them, and then Taysom on the other side.
like that.
So literally, you could go run right, run left, counter
like
right,
that.
counter left, so the ball could be snapped to either
Ooh,
guy.
I like
and
that.
then imagine if we're talking about passing. So now you got quarterback deke. So like the ball is snapped to Taysom, Jameis acts like he got it, and he starts rolling out to the
yeah.
left,
Oh,
yeah. So now we're really
Boy,
scheming.
Taysom could roll out there and catch a little short out pass
Hey,
or something.
even
I mean,
better, Taysom is a threat to catch
Oh,
the
yeah,
ball. So
sure
he's
is.
lined up as a quarterback, running back threat
I like
every
that.
time he's in the backfield.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is just how I would scheme. I'm not
that.
telling Dennis Allen how to scheme,
Well,
but I hope he's listening. That's a really good
I think
idea.
that is a good idea.
Should we talk about your Cowboys? This is
No,
a great.
thank you.
This is a great tidbit about Brian Takis yesterday. Brian Takis has come a long way in his appreciation of the National Football
Love
League.
the NFL.
He's
I need a hat that has the shield on it. So
Rob
I can
Lowe.
run around exactly.
Rob Lowe hat. Yesterday, Bryant, a road game with the Cardinals. So the Cardinals have played competitive games every game this
They
year.
stink.
They've been competitive in every game, but their quarterback is Josh Dobbs. And the way that a lot of people do football analysis is, Josh Dobbs is the quarterback? This team is terrible. And they did fire a coach. There's a ton of different factors as to why people think the team is terrible.
They also, people are reporting they want to tank for Caleb Williams this year. So that's
Fair enough.
But Caleb Williams might not even go to he might stay
He doesn't
at
want to play for
USC.
the Cardinals. But the defense has been very
The
good.
Trojans.
The
Yeah.
defense has been very good
No,
all
it has
year.
been a
In
good-
every
good
game they've
defense.
played in, that is not a defense.
And they were good yesterday. They were really good
If you're
yesterday.
wanting to tank, someone tell the defense because that is an
true.
excellent defense. I mean, the Giants might want to call up the Cardinals and get that defense over there right now.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals defense is really good. I've been really impressed by them yesterday. And Brian Dacus texted me I don't remember exactly what it was, but you were just, this is embarrassing. Oh, what a joke.
Yeah,
I mean, just
it's
terrible.
ridiculous.
And I responded to Brian, I was like, it's a road game in the National Football League in Week 3. Did you think the Cowboys were going to win every game?
I think my actual text after the game was, "I hate my life."
Oh, that's right. Which is very drastic because did you think they were going to win
going
every game?
undefeated.
Yeah, you
Super
thought they were going to win.
Bowl.
And furthermore, not just win every game. You thought they were going to win every game that you thought they should win.
They'd won every game
Because
so far.
because
I mean,
because as
what's
sports
stopping them now? I guess the Arizona Cardinals defense.
because as sports viewers, especially NFL viewers, we clearly have such a good gauge of what we're watching every week. Every team we think is good, and every team we think is bad. And the good teams always beat the bad ones, right?
That's right.
That's all. It happens every time.
Bingo.
So I was just taken aback that you've become such an appreciator of the National Football League. You watched the unbelievable witching hour yesterday that
What a great witching hour.
that featured the Patriots, that featured the Colts going to overtime and the Gardy Party getting a win in overtime. It really was an unbelievable witching hour yesterday. The Saints were part of the witching hour yesterday with Jameis in the game. A great witching hour. You watched all of that and you were like, my team is better than this team. How in the world did they lose on the road in the National Football League?
That's right. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, I have nothing else to add.
Not even a defense, just like, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Spot on.
I like that.
I will say this is the first year I've been able to watch like sit down in an afternoon and watch Red
Zone?
Red Zone, yeah. They do a little witches laugh during the witching
Oh,
hours.
man.
And,
It only gets better, deeper, and you get in October. Oh,
gets
man.
me fired up.
I'm telling you what, I love the witching hour. The
stuff.
witching hour. Where wins become losses and losses become wins. Oh, Scott Hansen, great. And then Sunday Night Football, the Steelers win a tough one on the road yesterday, that was a really good. Everybody in God was on the Steelers yesterday.
Yeah, they were.
It scared me off the game. because I was on the Steelers all week and then all weekend, and it just scared me off.
We love the Steelers.
Because the Raiders have been playing good football, too.
have.
And honestly, I thought they played well last night as well. They really made a valiant effort in the fourth quarter to come back.
Who was their other loss this year? The Bills last week.
That's right.
They got kind
I'll
of
tell you what,
by the Bills.
the Bills, even though they lost to the Jets, the Bills are coming.
Oh, yeah.
The Bills play...
Tough first game against the Jets. A lot going on. In
Kyle
that game.
Brandt said at least 15 times yesterday. He was a guest on NFL Game Day Morning. Kyle Brandt said at least 6 times yesterday, we're throwing out week 1.
I think you have to.
And which is what we said after week 1, is
it
there's
is.
going to be games that you're just like, this doesn't matter. It doesn't. And they're the first one we recognize. The Bills, you throw out week 1. It totally doesn't matter at all. This team is coming. They are legit. Everyone was criticizing Josh Allen after week 1. He's back. He is balling and better than ever. And even though we just said the Dolphins are a wagon, the Bills are in that division, and that is maybe the best 1-2 matchup in any division in football. At least that I can see from my eyes right now. Then, of course, the AFC North, because football is just different in the AFC North.
It's different, yeah.
I love the AFC North. But it was a great day of football yesterday, and I'm
Shout
excited.
out Calvin Austin. You're talking about the Steelers. He found the end zone.
He found Pater.
That's right.
So good stuff there. And 2 more games tonight, which we have to enjoy.
I love a good double duty Monday night.
First one's on the East Coast. I guess they're both. Cincinnati is Central Time Zone,
Central,
right?
yeah.
So first one starts on the East Coast in Tampa. That's at 6:15 our local time here. It's on ABC, and then at 7:15 that game is on ESPN and ESPN2. So we get a little dual broadcast there. You can get 2 TVs going.
No, this is just kind of like last week where it's just gonna be the same
Correct.
simulcast on ESPN. We don't got any Manning cast tonight on ESPN2.
I don't know the answer to that, quite honestly.
I think they're back week 4. I don't think they're.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably difficult to have them pick. I don't know how they do that, and there's already enough viewing options with 2 games. They probably don't want to do the menu options
I
like
think
that.
They're back next week, if I'm correct.
Eagles at the Bucks tonight. The Eagles are 5-point favorites on the road, primetime Monday Night
Bucks in
Football.
that one.
I like the Bucks in that one as well. And then the Rams going to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. I'll tell you what, yesterday on NFL Game Day Morning, I always like to look at the lone wolves, and what a lone wolf is they have other people pick games. Gerald McCoy is there picking games this year as well, but I really just look at the 4 guys: Rich Eisen, Mooch, Steve Mariucci, Kurt Warner, who's the worst lone wolf, and then Michael Irvin. And if they go 3-1, they call it a lone wolf, and the person puts on a little wolf hat and they that's your lone wolf there.
Like that.
You had a lone wolf on the Bengals yesterday, and those generally I really like to bet on those teams. Everybody's on the Rams. I mean, the Rams did look good last week, but the Bengals as a 2.5-point home favorite. The Bengals I've been really out on because Joe Burrow hasn't been doing well. I'm riding with them tonight. I really like the idea of taking the Bengals tonight against the Rams because
you got to think they're going to bounce back at some point.
I think so. Yeah. Steve Mariucci, lone wolf, and the Rams. Even though they were more impressive last week than I think people gave them credit for, I'm not sure we want to start buying high on the Los Angeles Rams right now. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of negativity that's associated with that team right now. They did not look good last year. Sans Matthew Stafford. And all that other stuff associated with that. Oh, one more point I meant to make when we were talking about the Dolphins and Broncos. No kidding that the Dolphins won by how much. Did you hear how the Broncos prepared to play the Dolphins in practice?
No.
So Tua is a southpaw. Uses his left hand to throw. He's
Love a good southpaw.
Slinging lefty.
Yeah.
In order to prepare, the Broncos had Ben DiNucci throwing with his left hand as the scout team quarterback. Had Ben DiNucci throwing as the scout team quarterback with his left hand all week at practice.
Great.
He is right-handed.
That is awesome.
I thought so too.
That is great.
That's how they prepared for the game.
Wow.
And it resulted in a historic loss as they made painstakingly obvious to Sean Payton, who didn't want to hear it, by the way.
No.
Hopping off of football for a minute. We gotta go to a break in just a second here, but I got one more thing.
Okay.
The strike is over tentatively, Bryant. You know what I'm referring to?
The writer's strike. Yeah.
So
last night.
Last night they reached a tentative agreement, and so they still have to work out paperwork deal. Everyone is kind of moving forward as though this is the end of that strike. Very good deal. It's not going to result in any immediate television, but they were worried it wouldn't even get ready by Christmas.
Wow.
So I don't.
This is big, I guess.
It's pretty big.
In September?
I don't think they're going to be able to write, produce, film, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Television by like spring. You might get some because the networks are using up all their summer series in the fall and spring. You might get some original programming, scripted television in the summer, but it might just be they just wait. You get a little extra long production season, and you don't go till the fall.
Interesting.
I have a hard time believing.
Kitchen Nightmare's back tonight.
I'm
stoked about that.
There's a lot of good shows that start this week in terms of reality television. So we've had Big Brother.
Hell's Kitchen also.
Big Brother, the Fox shows.
I'm a big Gordon Ramsay guy.
I'm going to get there too. So the shows that are on right now that are reality television shows, on Big Brother's 10 weeks in, it's gotten to be horrible. If you've ever watched Big Brother before,
I heard we had a little argument last night between.
I don't want to hear about it yet. I don't want to hear about it yet. Stop. I haven't watched last night's episode yet.
Oh, you haven't watched. Never mind. I'm sorry.
And you haven't watched it all. So why are you here sitting here spoiling all that stuff for me? But Big Brother's about 10 weeks in. This is the 11th week here. And they voted off, spoiler alert, they voted off 3 people at this point that have all come back in the house. Generally, in like Big Brother, that might happen like once, maximum twice a year. We're 10 weeks in, and they voted out 3 people that are back in the house. It's just ridiculous. They're making a mockery of the game. And the good news is the challenge, which has gone to the network television, the challenge used to be called the Road Rules Real World Challenge. Kyle Brandt, who we were just talking about, was on the Real World. He's never been on the challenge, though. Very popular MTV show if you were coming up when I was,
but now it's on CBS,
or a little before that. No, they still do it on MTV, but the Challenge USA is what's on CBS, and that incorporates a little bit more of the CBS, like Amazing Race, which starts this week. Survivor starts the same day, 90-minute episodes this year, and Big Brother.
It seems like they had Survivor people at every single CBS NFL game today or this weekend.
They're promoting the hell out of it. They did the same thing with Buddy Games 2 weeks prior, which is a new show based on a movie with Josh Duhamel.
Interesting.
And it's a funny movie. It has Nick Swartzen in it. Really good, funny actors are in it. But they had a reality show based on that this year. And so those CBS shows are going in full swing. The Challenge is my favorite of those 10 weeks in. You should hop on that if you're looking for something to watch. The Voice with Reba is joining as a judge this year to replace Blake Shelton. That starts tonight. I've been out on The Voice for a few years now. But I'll tell you what, I love Reba. Yeah. And I might give it a little watch because she's just a great personality.
Yeah,
she's just,
really
I mean, she really is so charismatic. She can pretty much do anything she wants. So I think that'll be an exciting thing to watch tonight. And then, like I said, Survivor and Amazing Race, 90-minute episodes coming up this week. Fox has their kitchen shows with Gordon Ramsay. Hell's Kitchen hasn't been on. No, it's not Hell's Kitchen. It's Kitchen Nightmares.
Kitchen Nightmares haven't been on since 2007.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's coming back. I'm
excited.
excited.
So they're making which they need the programming at this point to come back. And you saw them advertised ad nauseum this weekend. So it's good news that the strike is over. One last thing about the strike being over is the first thing that was announced. This is infuriating. is they're announcing Office reboot. Greg Daniels, who used to write for The Simpsons and write on Saturday Night Live, used to be Conan O'Brien's writing partner, is making his return. He's attached to the Office reboot. I don't know what direction they're going to go. It might just be they're talking about it, and this has been talked, so this is like the first exciting thing you can announce right after the strike is over. I don't know if anything will come of it. But look, The Office was a British sitcom made by Ricky Gervais.
That was turned into
developed by Greg Daniels for American television, which was then developed for Indian television.
Really?
Yeah, so there's like 4 versions of The Office. Not to mention The Office in America was at the very end of like when network sitcoms were a thing and you just put them out as long as you can because they've been sold into syndication. So the American version of The Office already went too long, and you're going to reboot it again when there's already 3 versions of the show. It just seems
following for the Office.
It just seems like a bad idea.
Seems like maybe a cash grab to me.
They need the cash.
That's true.
I mean, you know what? They really don't need the cash. Like, that's the thing is, I know they're talking about we're losing all this money, we're losing this money, but it's the same amount of money they would have paid the writers and stuff anyway.
That's true,
so I really think, and you're also producing television that people are watching because people like me just turn on the TV and watch these networks anyway. I just think The Office reboot's a bad idea unless they do a whole new spin on it, right? Like, unless it's a whole new cast, all that stuff, but it's not going to be a whole new cast, is it?
No.
Because
everybody wants to see all those people back.
That's where the money is, right?
That's right, yeah.
That's where the money is. We didn't talk any college football there, Bryant.
No.
But luckily, we have a former collegiate defensive coordinator joining us in just a second, John Thompson. He's going to break down some of the college games this week from this past weekend with us. That's next.
Historically embarrassing.
Next question.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis. There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wolo said hello.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and the market is starting to crank back up. While we had a slowdown late last year, the rates are coming down, and I'm seeing multiple offers again. And if you want to participate in 2023, think of me. Do not list your home without talking to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, and make sure that Kelly Erb and I are one of them. I've had people say that I must feel confident to tell people that, and yes, I do. We have a highly successful strategic marketing program that can make the difference in how much you make and when. Find out why people often say that when you want the job done, call Sheldon at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Or you can also call my marketing partner, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830.
Call me, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830 or Sheldon at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. Remember, call me, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830.
7.
12. What are we playing?
Central Barbecue has 7 different kinds of sandwiches.
Okay, does that seem like a lot?
Are you kidding? 7 may be the most perfect amount of sandwiches. See, they get the pulled pork. You can get chopped on request. Then trim sliced beef brisket sandwich. There's 2 right there.
I'm not sure exactly.
Look, you've also got the pulled chicken, the smoked turkey, the marinated portobello mushroom sandwich.
That seems like plenty.
You would think, but then you also got the smoked sausage and the barbecue bologna sandwich.
You're right. 7 may be the perfect amount of sandwiches.
The people at Central Barbecue are genius.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with 3rd row and 7-passenger seating. Now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months. Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315. Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30445. Outlander RZ 005762, MSRP 31385. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
No Dave today because it's Yom Kippur. I don't know what you would wish somebody in that regard, but I hope he has a good holiday.
Yes.
I feel like that's a safe way to say that.
Play it safe.
But it is as if Dave is here today because we are joined by Coach John Thompson right now, and we're going to rap a little bit about the games from over the weekend. And Coach, thanks so much for joining us this morning. I first want to ask you about an exciting game over the weekend. I guess not all that exciting if you're a Memphis Tiger fan, but very exciting if you're a Missouri Tiger fan, and a competitive game nonetheless, and that's really all you can ask for, going to a tough road environment like that, losing by 7. My uncle went to the game, and he said it was a great environment, and the fact that Memphis played so competitively, he was pleased with, albeit a loss. What did you take away from that Memphis-Missouri game?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, and I wish our man Wolo the best. I'm sure that he is he's laid up somewhere taking it easy by the pool and doing well. I'm sure he is. But you know what? In the game, there were a couple of takeaways on that. One, it was billed as a neutral site. You know, that it was not a neutral site by any stretch of the imagination. That was a Missouri-led fans for sure on that. But a couple of things stood out. I thought, you know, the big play early by Mizzou, you know, that showed up a couple of times. That set the tempo, but I'm telling you, Cook played out of his mind. Missouri's quarterback, Brady Cook, played so well, had a tremendous first half, and he was the difference in the game. I mean, Memphis DBs, I think, got exposed a few times with Burden. He had a bunch of catches, but Memphis had a chance, but Missouri just seemed like that they were in control from early in the game, and it really wasn't. You didn't feel like Memphis really was a part of it, but they were. But Brady Cook's not throwing interceptions, but he's not throwing incompletions, and threw for over 300 yards, and I thought he was the difference in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, Luther Burden and Brady Cook looked unbelievable Saturday night in that game. But for the Tigers, after that game, now you come back home, you play Boise State at home, and then you play a big conference game against Tulane. How much does this game against Missouri affect those two games? Does that kind of give them some fire that they were, it was such a close game? I know a lot of the players after the game were talking about they felt like they had an opportunity to win it late. I mean, how does this kind of motivate or move them for these next two home games?
No, I think they can really use it. I mean, really use it to step in for these next couple of games that are huge because they're conference games. But they can they should have come away from that game thinking, one, we should have won the game. You take away 2 or 3 plays. I mean, the the one play that I mentioned, the first touchdown by Missouri. You take away that one, and I mean, it ended up a 7-point game. But you just take a couple of plays and defend the pass a little bit better, and do that. Then you go, and that would have been a huge win for the Memphis Tigers. So I think they played well. They can play a lot better, but they need to. You can't. I mean, like Dave and I talk about all the time, the team with the best quarterback, or the team that plays the best at quarterback, usually wins, and that's Memphis has had that advantage a whole lot. But in this game, Brady Cook was the best quarterback on the field, in my opinion, on Saturday.
Well, it was like you guys have made good points in that regard. It was a really battle of quarterbacks. And I want to transition to a game that was not necessarily billed as the most exciting quarterback matchup in the world, and that was down in Tuscaloosa, Ole Miss and Alabama. While it was a top 15 matchup, a lot of people have up until this game, I should say, had billed Ole Miss as they are the most exciting team to this point in the SEC. They played the best kind of football, and a lot of Ole Miss fans I know were very optimistic to go into Tuscaloosa and get a win. And even though it was only a 2-score loss, I feel like that score is even closer than the actual game was. I think Alabama really dominated that game. Coach, what did you think watching that? Do you think Ole Miss still has some hope allowed in it, or is Alabama a lot better than people were giving them credit for after the first couple weeks?
No, I don't. I think Ole Miss missed an opportunity. I really do. The field goal that they missed before half, that really hurt them. But I just don't. In really looking now we've got more of a sample size on Alabama. They don't have the playmakers that they've had the last 8 to 10 years. I mean, we'll just go back to that, to all the first-round draft picks, that receivers, running backs, quarterbacks. None of those guys are what they've had over the last decade. Milroe is a tough guy, but he was holding the ball. Alabama, it's an offensive line. Is some of the sacks are on Milroe. Some of them are on the Alabama's offensive line. But Ole Miss let Alabama hang around long enough till their running game took over. McClellan started it, and then it was over. Alabama struggled in the first half, and then in the second half, when they were able to run the ball, like they ran the ball for 20-something yards in the first half, they ran it for over 100 in the second half, and they controlled the football game. But Alabama's not near as good, and I think Ole Miss is good. And you go into Tuscaloosa, and I've done that many times. That's a hard place to win, and they really hurt themselves they got behind the chains on first and second down. I mean, they had a lot of third and longs in the game, and that's the first game. And somebody told me there's the first game in over 40 games that they didn't score 21 points.
Wow!
So Ole Miss had a shot. I'm sure Kiffin and all the Rebels down there really realized that they let one. They got it when the Red Elephants are down, and I don't think they're coming back this year. I think they've got they don't have the same personnel that they've had in the past.
Right. Well, I want to stay in the SEC because a game that really surprised me on Saturday was Arkansas and LSU. I think going into this game, talking to some of my buddies that are Arkansas fans and some people that work over in Arkansas, they all thought that Arkansas was going to go down to Baton Rouge and this was going to kind of be a blowout after what you saw LSU do to Mississippi State last week. But Arkansas goes down there extremely competitive and only ends up losing by 3 points. What did you make of this game?
Arkansas is hard to figure out. I mean, KJ Jefferson is a problem. I mean, he's tough to handle. When I say problem, I'm talking about he's an issue for defenses. And I'm not sure how good LSU is right now. Maybe Arkansas is a lot better, but Arkansas secondary, I mean, nobody's been able to cover Neighbors. Daniel the Neighbors is as good as it gets in the SEC right now. Nobody, and they got burned back there. But I thought the key into that game they took 3 plays right. LSU took 3 plays right before the end of the half, went 75 yards and stuck it in the end zone, and really captured that momentum and came out the second half and just kind of did the same thing. And it was a lot like Ole Miss and Alabama. It ended up being a small score, but you didn't feel like Arkansas was really in the game. But one play would have made the difference for them. But until somebody figures out a way to stop Jaden Daniels and to Neighbors, LSU is going to keep winning a lot of games.
So you're still very optimistic in what LSU could do doing forward in terms of competing to win the league?
You know what? I think it's the West is wide open, more so than ever because of Alabama. And I'm not saying that Alabama is they're better than average and they're a good football team, but they're not going to have they don't have the playmakers that they've had the last few years. I mean, guys that are throwing and catching and running on Sundays. They got a lot of guys that are going to be maybe late round draft picks, but they don't have the first round draft pick. So that keeps people like LSU and maybe at Texas A&M and even Arkansas, if they get on fire, that still have a chance to do something in the West.
Yeah, I hope so. I know a lot of people were disappointed after that Week 1 loss, but Florida State gets a big win this weekend, and that kind of bolsters LSU's standing, I suppose, as well. And like you said, even though that game ended up being really close, they dominated a lot of ways. They got a lot of good players over there in Baton Rouge.
They really. A lot of talent.
A lot of talent. This is a tough road game. I was so, I loved that I got to see last year's quarterback for Auburn, Robbie Ashford, take the field. But they were kind of playing quarterback roulette at Auburn this weekend against Texas A&M. Just could not find anything, couldn't get anything going. A&M, talk about dominating performances. A&M dominated that game from start to finish, it seemed like. What do you make of both sides here, kind of individually? Auburn, even though they're 3-1, that was their first league game and an embarrassing loss there, albeit on the road in a tough place to play. Do you still have any optimism for Auburn, and did Texas A&M winning in that fashion make you a bit more optimistic about their season?
Well, I'm a lot higher on Texas A&M than I am Auburn. I think Hugh's got to get a quarterback and got to get settled there somehow, and obviously they're not. They had a lot of different quarterbacks, but the old Texas A&M wrecking crew was the difference in that one. And then when Max Johnson comes in and plays for A&M, he lit it up. Yeah. I mean, and you got to give Bobby Petrino credit for that. I mean, the backup quarterback came in and did really well. And I've known Max, played against him or coached against him when he was in high school. He's really a very good player, but the defense for Texas A&M, now they had 14 tackles for losses and 7 sacks. You can't move the football when you have that, and that's just where Auburn's offense struggled so much. They're a little bit like Alabama, that they're struggling at wide receiver and quarterback. I mean, you got a Hugh Freeze offense that threw for 56 yards.
Oh my goodness!
There's some issues. There are definite issues with throwing and catching, and who's throwing and catching right there. They got to settle on a quarterback and let it go.
Or who's not throwing and catching, Coach.
I guess so.
You're right.
Coach, I want to ask you about one of the national games from Saturday night, because I was really excited about this one. I think it lived up to its hype. Ohio State and Notre Dame Saturday night. Ohio State with a last-second win. I saw people on Twitter were posting all night about how Notre Dame only had 10 guys on the field for those last 2 plays. But, I mean, this was a really fun game between, I think, 2 of the best teams in the country. What did you think about that show?
And as a defensive coordinator, Coach, what do you say about having 2 plays in a row where you can't get the 11th man on the field?
Well, I thought, Marcus really took up for his players on that, and that's everybody's responsibility. That's the players on the field. That's the backups watching their position. That's the coaches knowing what's going on. That's everybody. Everybody should take the blame for that. There's no excuse. But I was really close to this game because Ohio State and Notre Dame both had ex-players that I coached at here in Atlanta. The Steel Chambers that plays linebacker at Ohio State, and J.D. Bertrand that plays linebacker at Notre Dame. So I was really glued into it. Talked to both of them before the game and talked to them both after the game. They were disappointed. Bertrand at Notre Dame on the last play, he was really frustrated because he said that they ran there both times, that's where the 11th guy should have been. And he was frustrated at a little bit of everybody on that. And then Chambers, get this, he breaks 2 ribs in the first quarter and keeps playing and played the whole game. So I asked him, I said, well, did you get some good medication when you came to the sideline? And he said, no, I didn't get the medication until after the game to help me calm down. But I mean, that's the way that game was. But man, I felt sorry for Notre Dame and my man Bertrand, and he was sitting on the goal line when they scored the very last play. And happy for Steel Chambers, but now he's hurt. He'll play again. They don't play this week. They got an open date, so maybe he'll be back because he's a Butkus nominee. So he may be one of the top linebackers in the country. Both of them, number 27 for Notre Dame and number 22 for Ohio State. They're both great young men and great players. So I was watching the defense real hard on that game.
Well, Coach, I think you nailed it. That was the most, for my money at least, that was the most exciting game of the week and ended in dramatic fashion. I'll tell you what, even though Notre Dame got the loss and lost at home like that Notre Dame's playing really good football and they're heading in the right direction.
They did. The quarterback is really good. He didn't have a game to put him over the top, but that was a Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier going at it right there. That's anybody would pay to see that game again. So maybe we'll get. They both could still get in the playoffs. It'll be hard, but they both could still get in there. Ohio State's got a much better chance, obviously now, but I think Ohio State may be one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the country.
Yeah, they're 2 good teams, anybody's race at this point. Coach, thanks so much for joining us today. Dave will be back next week, but we really appreciate it.
Well, Ben, it is my pleasure. I enjoy doing it, and thank you guys for having me.
Thanks,
Love talking football.
Yeah, talk to you next week, Coach. That is Coach John Thompson joining us.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. Good weekend. I'm glad we ended on that game, too, because it was the most.
Oh, that game was unbelievable.
It really was. It was an unbelievable game. That's the only way you can say it. Should we play Sean Payton talking now?
I would be mad if we did.
Yeah, we'll do it on the other side. Back into this.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Purchase a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Conway Services today and get up to $1,750 back plus a free Nest thermostat when Conway Services buys back your old, inefficient HVAC system. Guaranteed service and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Conway Services today. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
They're taking care of business in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Fiveash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with 3rd row and 7-passenger seating. Now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months. Mirage RH 00782 MSRP 18315. Eclipse RZ 001693 MSRP 30445. Outlander RZ 005762 MSRP 31385. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Are you going to watch any of the like reality competition shows that are premiering this week, like Survivor and Amazing Race or anything like that?
Not.
Have you ever watched
Hell's
Survivor
Kitchen,
and Amazing
that's a
Race?
competition
Yeah, no, that's
show.
one. So
I'm
yeah, you
watching
can watch that.
that. Absolutely.
You like the Fox. You just like Gordon Ramsay.
I love Gordon Ramsay.
You like the
I
Fox
think he's
ones.
so entertaining.
The Masked Singer is back going again.
I can't do the Masked Singer.
But I don't understand how they do the Masked Singer. I guess so. This year
It annoys me to no
Tell you
end.
what. This year on The Masked Singer, you're going to know that all of the contestants aren't actors because they're on strike.
Oh, that's a good point.
So you know.
Victor Oladipo was on the Masked Singer, and Victor
That was
Oladipo
years
has
ago.
a great voice.
That was years ago.
I know, but it was my favorite. He did Casey Musgrave's Rainbows. Oh, man. that was
Demi Lovato was revealed this season.
Really?
She was one of the
Interesting.
people.
I don't think you should be able to do a singer on the Masked Singer.
Well, all the time. But T-Pain won season
Oh,
one.
that's right. Lil Wayne was on one, too.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right. They do a lot of singers.
Ninja, the streamer Ninja. I have to say
missed
the
that
streamer Ninja because there's a lot of people. If I say Ninja, they're like, "What are you talking about? Who's a
Just a ninja?
What's a ninja?" Yeah, I'm excited for Survivor and the Amazing Race. I'm actually excited for the Gordon Ramsay ones too. I like Gordon Ramsay. He's a good personality.
He's great.
Charismatic, even though he's angry sometimes.
Also, for me, it's like...
what are you, an idiot sandwich? That was with Julie Chen?
That was great. Was that really?
Yeah, that's Julie Chen.
I didn't know that.
Julie Chen Moonves, I should say.
Yeah.
She uses the other name now as well.
I think that's like my food escape where like I don't eat anything, but I can watch them make it and be like, well, that looks good. I'd never eat it, but like that looks good. So That's one reason I like.
I do like food shows like that. I don't love like Chopped.
We used to watch Chopped in high school,
but it's just so the same all the time.
In our cooking class.
The old Food Network show I like a lot is a man named Alton Brown. He was the host of Iron Chef America, which first of all, Iron Chef, not just Iron Chef America, but Iron Chef, the original one, dubbed. Great show. But he had a show called Good Eats where he would like pick an ingredient in each 30-minute episode. It was kind of presented like Bill Nye the Science Guy a little bit.
Interesting. Like seeing what he could do with that one ingredient.
Yeah, just like all the things you can make with it, and it would be like a history of the food. It's very interesting. If you like to nerd out about any topic, that's a really good one to watch. But that's an old one. They're not rebooting that or anything. I think they've actually started making new episodes, but the old ones are where they had one about like avocados and I mean literally every food you can think of. Pasta, they got a few pasta episodes, a few cheese episodes, foods like that you could. They're so robust. You could do so much with. Are you gonna watch The Voice? You think?
Yeah, I probably will. Since Reba's on,
I like
I might
Reba.
tune in.
I'm excited to see Reba on The Voice as well.
I like Reba a lot.
Me too. You know what else I'm going to watch tonight is Monday Night Raw. I'm going to watch Monday Night Football.
I thought you were going to say Monday Night Football.
I want to watch Monday Night Football too. But Monday Night Raw, WWE Monday Night Raw, I've really gotten into wrestling lately.
You have.
I have.
Big wrestling.
But it's been a big couple weeks with 2 weeks ago with The Rock, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, The Rock going back to WWE SmackDown. 170 some odd million people watched that.
That's crazy.
Is that not incredible?
It's
so their
insane.
numbers went through the roof, and
just because The Rock was there.
Just because The Rock was there. Although Austin Theory, who was in the ring with him, says it's because of him. That's like the shtick he's playing. That's on this past Friday. That's what he did. That was a shtick. And they've been also having John Cena come back. Has not had the same numbers. Obviously, I don't think John Cena's as big a star as The Rock ever was.
Absolutely not.
You know what? I've got a controversial take, and the reason why I brought up going to watch Monday Night Raw, because I wanted to say this before the end of the show today. I don't like John Cena.
Really?
Just a lame guy. Like, he's wearing these jean shorts that go down to his ankles.
The cargo shorts?
Yeah, and, like, his entire shtick is, like, being, like, a good guy, like, family-friendly, like, I care about other people. You know, like, it's just lame,
weird
man.
shtick, yeah.
It's just not entertaining. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things that appeals to me about AEW is how creative and how funny the, like, writing is and the storylines are and everyone's personality
John Cena
shine.
kind of tried to do the Rock method of, like, wrestling and then get into acting, but he wasn't near the actor that.
Oh, he's still in it. He's got
really?
He's in the DC universe now with his character that was in the Suicide Squad. I don't remember his name, but he has a show that's I think it's on Amazon or HBO Max or something like that. That's just about Peacemaker. The Peacemaker. He's the Peacemaker.
Wow, so even more of like the same shtick.
But he's just such a lame guy. Like he goes out there and goes, "Thank you, thank all of you." Like, shut up, man. Like, have some personality. What a lame guy. Johnny Radio's next.
We interrupt this broadcast for special